Breaking news, Trump's son is a hero. Apparently, Fox News is reporting that Barron Trump reportedly saved a woman's life after witnessing violent assault on a FaceTime call. Anyway, the woman who said she was violently attacked by her ex-boyfriend last year told the London court that her friend Barron Trump unexpectedly saved her life after she managed to call him during the assault. And the United Kingdom media outlet Metro apparently reported this on Wednesday. After answering the FaceTime call and witnessing the alleged assault, the 19-year-old hero son of President Donald Trump reportedly reportedly contacted emergency operators, prompting UK police to respond to the scene on January 8th. I don't know why they're giving. At 2 a.m. Damn. She added that she was the R word. She added that she was raped on the day that she called Trump, and alleged that her ex-boyfriend, who first became violent 6 months into their relationship, had a history of assaulting her, including stranglings, said the Metro, citing hearings at Snaresbrook Crown Court. Okay, all right, cool. Barron Trump spotted on NYU campus for first time since inauguration. Oh, cool. According to body cam footage from the day of the alleged attack, Trump was heard over the phone telling officials, "I just saw a ceiling and could hear screaming. I could see the guy's head on the phone, and then the camera turns to her crying and getting hit." Barron Trump was reportedly attempted to call his friend for a casual conversation before finally receiving a call back. Said the call lasted only about 10 to 15 seconds, after which he contacted the authorities. According to the 999 emergency, because that's apparently their fucking call number, call played in court, Trump reportedly said, "I just got a call from a girl I know. She's getting beaten up." Hell yeah. That's hero speak right there, man. You just want to die for the guy, right? Like, come on, he's just a natural born leader. After giving them her address, he emphasizes that it's really an emergency. Please, I got a call from her with a guy beating her up. Yeah, no, that's fair. Get him there, buddy. Light a fire into their ass, all right? When Trump arrived, the woman identified her anonymous caller as Trump, explaining, "I am friends with Barron Trump, Donald Trump's son." Damn straight she is. Absolutely. And you know who that man is, glorious golden bastard. To confirm to the police, the woman called Trump again, asking, "Hello, Barron, did you call the police or anything?" Yeah, she did. All right, anyway. So, yeah, reportedly, Barron Trump is now a hero because he saved one of his friends from school, which I suppose is awesome, I guess. Anyway, in other news, NATO chief at Davos glazing Trump despite trying to posture against him over this Greenland thing. So Trump went to Davos, and while he was there, nobody was putting forth any resistance really whatsoever. They were doing some political posturing, and the NATO, the chief, I guess, where's it at? NATO chief praises Trump at Davos, says he's forcing Europe to step up on its defense, says Fox News. So let's find out, because this, I'm pretty sure, is an actual video that goes along with it. If not, I'll have to read it again, but we don't want that, because I am not a good reader.
In Hungary with him, do you have a timeline or a date set for when?
I would say within 2 weeks or so. I'm doing it also to help Europe. They want to have it ended, but they're unable to do it. I'm able to do it. So I think we'll be successful. It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get, so I canceled it. But we'll do it in the future.
President Trump talking about meeting with Vladimir Putin in Hungary, that now off. Joining us just out of the White House Oval Office, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Mr. Secretary General, thanks for coming back on Special Report.
Thanks for having me on the program again.
I would love to get your assessment of what you took from that Oval Office meeting. We obviously got a chance to ask questions to the president inside, but what's your take from that meeting?
Well, here we have a president who, from day one coming into office, wants to end this war in Ukraine. By the way, he has
from day one, and I think he has stopped. No, oh, what is going on? All right, so I think he has stopped 9 wars up to this point.
You also posted about your call with President Putin today. You spoke about
You're here, okay.
In Europe, are leaders on board? Is Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky on board to get to a ceasefire, stopping where it is right now?
Zelensky already indicated that he wants to do that. And of course, what helped here is that the American president, President Trump, said that when it comes to security assurances for Ukraine, where the Europeans are working hard to get there, that he wants to join that. That will, of course, help also for the Ukrainians, for the US to be involved. But in the end, there has to be a meeting. They have to sit together, but it has to start with a full ceasefire, and I fully support the president's vision on this.
You know, you mentioned that the sanctions that the Treasury Department has put in place, you think that's going to...
Yeah, no, it probably will, if I'm being honest. Listen, Europe cannot exist without the United States, but the United States could totally exist without Europe, right? So the fact that the United States wants to leave NATO is a very big problem for Europe, much more so than it actually is for the United States. Now, it's going to cause a little bit of economic and supply chain turmoil in the short term, but in the longer term, the U.S. is able to actually produce anything and everything that it might actually need, whereas Europe is much more actually dependent on outside resources because there are so many countries over there that they don't all produce everything that they would require. China, for example, does not produce liquefied natural gas or oil. They do, however, produce rare earth minerals, right? So China, if it gets cut off from Iran and Venezuela, which it currently is happening, honestly, it's going to have a very big problem in terms of its oil production. And since most of its military runs on oil, they're going to be fucked, man. So they will start fighting each other long before they ever group up to try and fight the United States. I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make.
To change the dynamic, things so far have not moved Putin to get to the ceasefire or to change what he's been doing with attacks inside Ukraine. Do you think this will do it? Do you think it's going to take more of attacks inside Russia by Ukraine?
Well, look what happened. I mean, the Russians have lost now 1 million people dead or seriously wounded since the war started. Since last Christmas, they gained a territory the size of Jacksonville in Florida. And last month, they again lost over 20,000 people. Not the seriously wounded, they were all dead. That's the same amount as the Soviets lost in 10 years in Afghanistan. So, and then look what happened when the president decided on secondary sanctions, on tariffs on India. Putin came to Alaska. When the president said we might, yes or no, do something with Tomahawks. Immediately it was the Russian president on the phone with the American president last Thursday. So we are able collectively...
Oh, that's true, yeah. I heard about the Trump and Putin call. I didn't read into it because I don't do things off stream. That would be dumb, right? But I didn't read into it. But I heard that like Trump took a call from Putin, and then obviously the mainstream media is going, "Oh, Trump got his new orders."
To change the calculus of Vladimir Putin, and here I really have to commend the leadership of Donald Trump, of the American president.
Mr. Secretary General, each one of those times, though, after Alaska, after Putin traveled to China, after phone calls, in the past, the attacks have increased inside Ukraine. What do you say to critics who say that these communications with Putin let him off the hook and essentially enable him to push this war forward while he continues to say, maybe I'll be willing to talk?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think that the U.S. should be sending anything at all to Ukraine whatsoever, be it money or weapons, right? We don't get anything of any value from Ukraine. There's no reason we should try and defend it. It's not even really a good strategic location, given that we have Israel already over in the Middle East, and if we go to Ukraine, we're just going to be locked between two fighting countries. So there's really not, it's not a super big deal if we don't keep Ukraine in our allies section, right? We can move them over to the forget about it column. With Taiwan, it's different because there are some arguments to keep it. if for no reason other than its geopolitical position. Ukraine, however, is fucking worthless.
I would not agree. I would say that when President Trump came into office and was willing to dialogue and engage with both President Putin and President Zelensky, that's exactly the way forward. We always knew this was not easy to get this ended, and we still need time to do it, but consistent pressure on the Russians to come to the table. But also having sometimes very straightforward conversations with the president of Ukraine. This is all necessary. And this is exactly what the Americans are doing at the moment under the leadership of President Trump to end this war. This will not end tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, but I fully subscribe to his vision that the step one should be a ceasefire, full ceasefire, stop the fighting, stop the killing.
The Treasury Department, when they put out these sanctions, is urging that ceasefire that you're talking about in the statement that they put out. The Treasury Secretary was just on Larry Kudlow's show and is specifically talking about European countries and how important it is for European countries to get on board. Take a listen. Oh, and this is the president talking about that.
I think that they'll certainly have an impact. They're massive sanctions. It's sanctions on oil. The two biggest oil companies, among the biggest in the world, but they're Russian. They do a lot of oil. And hopefully it'll push, hopefully he'll become reasonable, and hopefully Zelensky will be reasonable too. You know, it takes two to tango.
And the Treasury Secretary is saying he's been making calls.
It's true. Listen, as much as people are talking about, does Putin really even want to end this war? Does Trump want to end this war? Like, first of all, Europe should be doing much more for its neighbor than the United States is. And second, does Zelensky want this war to end? Because didn't he stop all elections in his country while this war is going on? Right? Isn't he getting hundreds of billions of dollars from allied nations while this war is going on? I mean, let's be realistic here. How is it that he has survived this whole time? Oh yeah, because he's just filling his fucking pockets with donations to the country to help the cause. Like, Zelensky is probably profiting more off of this war than anybody else.
All afternoon to try to discuss it with European countries. Do you think countries over there are going to take this seriously and get on board with these sanctions?
Well, the good thing is that Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, and President Trump, they have become close friends over the last 3-4 months, and they were able to get to a deal when it comes to the trade relationship between the EU and the United States. And on that basis, I think it is totally fair for the US to say, hey, when we do stuff against, in this case, the Russians, we would like for the Europeans to follow as much as possible. And this is exactly the type of discussion going on. Take, for example, the Americans saying, why is Hungary and Slovakia still buying oil from Russia? And they are working together now to make sure that all of this step by step will get to a place where it provides maximum pressure on the Russians, because that's in the end what we need, and at the same time also keeping the conversation going with the Ukrainians.
I have this last thing, this graphic where it shows.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately, like, both the sides have to be willing to lay down their weapons, you know? Like, they have to be willing. But also, Ukraine can't just be like, oh, give us everything that we had back and then leave. Like, they can't do that because, I mean, Russia can't look like a bitch to their citizens, right? Like, Vladimir Putin has an image to upkeep, and I'm just being real here. Like, I'm not saying I support it. I'm not saying I don't. I have no opinions toward it whatsoever. I think he is doing what he thinks is best for Russia, and be damned every other country. It's the same thing that I would expect of any other leader of any other country. Do what is best for you and your people. And for Russia, being able to conquer Crimea again, and being able to conquer like the Donbass and the Luhansk region. I don't really know all the details over there, but essentially, I think the idea was that they wanted the port city. Russia ultimately needs that, right, for the betterment of Russia. So I think they're going to want to continue to try and get that. And if they have land, I don't think they're going to want to give it back. So, I mean, if you're going to say, hey, let's lay down our arms, we keep what we have, you keep what you have, these are the new borders, right? Ukraine is going to look bad to their citizens. But if they give everything back, then Russia's going to look bad to their citizens. So ultimately, like, when is it going to end, right? When is it going to stop? I don't think either side even really wants it to.
Was the Russian attacks after each one of these efforts that we talked about, Alaska, the phone calls, the outreach to Putin, and the number of attacks spike.
And again, listen, you cannot argue. Trump has tried. Okay, so look, if they don't want to stop, fuck it. We're gonna let them fight it out. And
directly after.
If I'm being honest with you, everybody just stop giving shit to Ukraine, and Russia will win soon.
Each one of these things. Has the incursion into NATO countries continued? We had a spate of those with drones and other flyovers. Has that continued?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what we have seen is, of course, 3 MiG-31 flying into Estonian airspace, and we have seen the drones into Poland. This all in the last 6 weeks. As far as we can establish, it was not intentional.
We've just moved on from tanks and boots on the ground, and now it's just drones everywhere.
But it was anyway reckless, it was unacceptable. But NATO reacted exactly as we should. We have trained and prepared for this. This is not new, this happened in the Soviet days. It now also happens under President Putin's gut.
Yeah, NATO acted in exactly the way that we should. We all puckered our lips and turned our head and looked at American Daddy and said, help. And the problem now is that American Daddy says, no, I really need you guys to be self-sufficient because one day I'm not going to be taking care of you anymore and you're going to die. So, you know, what can I say? If you can't take care of yourself and you can't take care of your citizens because I've been taking care of you for too long, then ultimately that's your fault.
To stop, but NATO has exactly reacted, and if necessary, and let me make that point again, because there was some misunderstanding in the last couple of weeks, if necessary, NATO can take down these planes if they pose a threat. If they do not pose a threat, they will be intercepted and then gently being guided outside, in this case, of Estonian airspace.
And you're optimistic that Putin may change where he has been over recent weeks?
Look at the Russian economy, the long lines of cars into the gasoline stations, the fact that the Ukrainians have now hit 1/3 of the Russian oil and gas infrastructure, which...
Oh, that's not a good thing. Russia's, oh boy, if they hit the infrastructure for their oil and gas, that's a problem. Because, oh dude, that means it's, oh no. You know what? Trump actually probably does want this war to continue. So, a thing that we've been doing with Iran and with Venezuela is commandeering and destroying their ability to create and distribute oil. And their biggest customer for that oil was China for a long time. And now that they don't produce that anymore and they can't export it, China's not getting oil from anybody except Russia. So most of Russia's economy is being propped up by China right now, whose economy is going to fail if they don't acquire more oil. And with Russia's infrastructure being apparently destroyed, or at least with 30% of Russia's oil-producing infrastructure being destroyed, that means that hurts the rest of the oil that China's even getting. China's never going to attack Taiwan at this point, man. Never going to do it, because they're not going to be able to. Their entire navy is fucking run on gas and diesel fuel. If they can't import that shit, then they don't have a... This is awesome. And like, dude, like, it's been 1 year and Trump has already crippled our biggest adversary. And we didn't lose a single American life. That is awesome, man.
This is the main backbone of their economy. The French president now organizing in Europe for countries to do much more against this shadow fleet, which is also a main source of income for the Russians. All of this will help to change the calculus. But always, because you, the Americans, you have the biggest economy in the world, the biggest military in the world.
We do.
And you have a president which is laser focused on getting this thing ended. And
yes, he is. Well, in addition to a couple of other things that he wants for the American people, but that's a different conversation. In like a few minutes, whenever I get to that.
Collectively, we will change Putin's calculus and get him to the table and get the ceasefire going. I'm absolutely convinced. It may not be today or tomorrow, but we will get there.
I know we all hope so. Mr. Secretary General, we appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Baron Trump is apparently a hero, and Trump's going to Davos and facing all of the nations that have been really throwing shade toward him lately, if I'm being honest. And they all basically bow down and kiss the ring. I mean, the NATO chief just was fucking glazing him, obviously. Because why wouldn't you, right? And listen, nobody glazes Trump more than Trump does, okay? But that NATO chief was, he was... So definitely subscribe and like and hit the notification bells and follow me on all the things. All of my links will be in the description of my video. You're welcome to check it out. The proper pronunciation is Cestal, and I will see you guys on Sunday back here. I'm hoping to get some more activity in the chat, so let's do that, huh? All right, bye.